Good morning. Welcome to Fort Mill Student Ministries. This is Joe Pacheco, Jay Pacheco, and Luna Pacheco blowing kisses at you today.
Say hi, Luna.
Hopefully you're doing well. We definitely miss you. And Luna can't wait to see you. All right, guys. So we're going to go right into a new lesson. Right, we have another 4-week lesson that we're going to go over, and we're going to be talking a lot about lifelines. Okay. In this series, we're going to be talking about best friendships, godly friendships, and how they're give you that feeling of lifelines. They're the relationships you can hang on to, count on, and trust. If you don't know what a lifeline is, think about it in this manner. If you're on a lake or on the ocean, and you're on a boat, you get you're overboard, right? So you're in the water with no real way of staying safe, but someone throws you a life preserver attached to a rope to bring you in back to the safety of the boat instead of being out there in the waters, right? That's what we're talking about, that safety and that reassurance. Today we're going to be talking about what that might look like to be lifelines to each other in our real life friendships.
My favorite friendships are the friendships that it's okay to be real with, as in real awkward. I mean, are you really friends with someone if you haven't swapped ugly, awkward selfies? What do you think real friendship looks like?
We've probably seen pretty bad examples of friendships before. Maybe you're feeling effects of that not so great friendship right now. But the good news is we have a model we can learn from, as well as try to figure out what real friendships look like. Now, I'm going to tell a story just about some of my best friends. We were never the popular kids in high school, never the popular kids at all. We were always beat to our own drum. But one thing that made me feel or reassured me that I could actually talk to them about anything is the fact that they were vulnerable with me. They opened up and shared things with me, and we built trust together. Always reassuring that, what stays between friends or homies or boys are always going to stay between boys. So even if it was any secret that we would have had together, I've always felt comfortable being able to speak to them about that, and vice versa. Even some of the most vulnerable stories that we have that are embarrassing, we're able to share with each other with the confidence that it would just stay between us. This person is a real friend because they gave me a place where I could be real with them. I knew I could be honest and I could be vulnerable and authentic. I knew I could be real with them and still be loved no matter what.
We all want to be loved. Being real can be scary, right? It's scary to be honest, vulnerable, and authentic with another person. But if you're real about who you are, will anyone still love you? Is the real you lovable? No matter who you are, what you're like, or what you hide, we all have this common: we want to be loved. But sometimes we're afraid if we love people, or afraid if people really knew us, they wouldn't really love us. A friendship wouldn't be placed where a friendship would not be placed where you can't be real. And you want to always feel loved. But not every friendship turns out that way.
It's unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Throughout the series, we're going to look at 4 times Jesus was a friend to someone who needed him. Then we're going to talk about what we learned from Jesus' example.
All right. So the first story we're going to talk about is in the book of John, John 4 actually, chapters 1 through 29. Summarize that story. This moment in Jesus' ministry was just the beginning. Jesus traveled through a town called Samaria, a place where Jewish people, like Jesus, usually didn't want to visit because there was cultural and religious differences. Jews and Samaritans usually weren't caught dead talking to each other. But because Jesus was thirsty, and because he never upheld traditions that were rooted in hate or equality, he stopped at a well in Samaria to get a drink of water. There he starts a conversation with someone, the Samaritan woman. There's a reason this woman was drawing water alone during the hottest hours of the day, when the rest of the community was probably already picked up their water in the morning when it was still cool. This woman has something to hide, and Jesus knows it. He tells her to get her husband, and then things get real. She even tries to change the subject. We don't know what happened to the woman's husbands, but we do know they were out of the picture. We also know that marriage at this time and this culture was very different from marriage today. Today, marriage is a mutual decision between two people. Back then, women did not have the same power in a marriage relationship. This woman wouldn't have gotten married 5 times just for the fun. This wasn't a lifestyle she would have chosen. Without a husband, this woman couldn't have been able to support herself financially. A husband was a woman's protection from poverty and homelessness at this time. Can you imagine opening up to a complete stranger about the biggest, scariest, most broken part of your life? Me either. But this woman opened up to Jesus. Jesus knew her secret, but yet he pursued a friendship with her anyway. He wasn't scared of her messiness or brokenness. When things got real, Jesus didn't shame her, reject her, or get angry with her. Instead, he had a conversation with her, and he told her the best news she ever heard. And he was her Messiah, the promised Savior, there to make wrong things right. She was so changed by that encounter with Jesus that she told the entire town about it. Jesus gave her a place where she was totally real and totally loved. And it changed her life. What's one thing Jesus did for this woman that you would want from a friendship or a friend to do for you? It's a lot of things to list at that point in time. Any one of those things he did for the Samaritan woman would have been great.
Sometimes all you need is just for someone just to talk. Just to say, hi, how are you?
Absolutely. But one thing that Jesus gave her is a place to be real. While there are so many things we could pull out of that message, here's just one I want us to think about today. Jesus gave this woman a gift of a real friendship, and he does the same for us. No, this isn't the kind of friendship that involves after-school hangouts or year-long Snapchat streaks. This is the kind of friendship that says, you can be real with me because I'm going to love you no matter what. That's the kind of friendship Jesus offered to this woman. And it's the kind of friendship he offers to you and me too. The things about you that worry that you may worry aren't lovable. The secrets you hide because you're afraid no one would love you if they knew. Jesus sees the real you, and he loves you so much. Jesus is inviting you into a friendship where you can be totally real and totally loved. How well do you think you embody the qualities or these qualities for your friendships? It's kind of a hard thing to reflect on.
Yes.
Okay, so the second one we're going to dive into is in Ephesians 5, chapter 1 and 2. All right, to summarize that, we're called to be imitators of God. So does Jesus want us to befriend random strangers at drinking fountains and ask them awkward questions about their personal lives? I don't think so. Maybe not. But if we're supposed to be imitators of God, then it's important to look closely at the example of Jesus to see how we can be more like him in every area of our life, including our friendships. Just like Jesus invited us into a friendship and gives us a place to be real, friendships that imitate God are friendships that let us be real with each other. Godly friendships let you be real. So how can you have a friendship or any friendships that give you a place to be real, honest, and loved? And how can you be that kind of friend that gives that space or place for real, honest, and to be real, honest, and loved. The story gives us a few cues on which we can learn from. Our friendships become places where we can be real when we quiet the judgment. Jesus didn't go to Samaria by accident. He knew, he went to show his followers that their judgments of Samaritans were all wrong. They weren't the people to be hated, but the people to be loved. If you want to be a great friend and have great friends, quiet your judgment and choose to listen to the other stories like Jesus did.
Know who you are. When Jesus approached the Samaritan woman, he knew exactly who he was. He didn't change who he was to earn her attention or approval by confidently knowing exactly who he really was. Jesus showed her that she could discover who she was too. If you want to be a great friend and have great friends, know who you are so others can discover who they are.
Be real. If you want the kind of friendships where everyone can be real and still know they're loved, someone has to go first. Maybe it's you. What would it take for you to be more real in your friendships? How can you be more honest, authentic, and vulnerable so others feel safe enough to do the same?
Invite real. When you think a friend might be struggling, don't ignore it. Don't let a tough topic keep you from talking about real things. Don't let a friend stay in hiding. You can be the kind of friend who gently and compassionately invites others to come out of hiding, to be more real. This is the kind of friendship Jesus offers us, and it's the kind of friendship we can offer each other. Jesus was a lifeline of real love to the Samaritan woman at the well. When we imitate Jesus, like Ephesians 5 says, we can become the lifeline of real love to each other. Wouldn't it be incredible to know that your friendships are places where you can be totally real and totally loved? They can be.
If you're not sure if you have a place to be real, loved right now, here's what you can do. First, get real with Jesus. He is offering the same friendship to you he offered to the woman at the well. Let him be your lifeline of love, hope, and transformation. Second, get real with someone here. Maybe it's an adult or maybe it's a peer. But get real with someone. Let them know you're struggling or that you want a deeper friendship or that you feel alone. Or that you could really use a lifeline right now. Remember, godly friendships let us be real. So let's be real with God and each other.
Has a friend ever told you they were doing fine when you knew they weren't? What could we do to let our friends know that it's okay to be real with us? Do you ever hide parts of your story from others? If you do, what's keeping you from sharing? What's one thing you can do this week to be more real with God, to be more real with friendships, and to help others feel safe enough to be real with you?
These are all tough questions, guys, but these are questions that we have to find out in ourselves so we can be, that lifeline, to have those godly friendships, to be able to speak to people and give them that place the same way we want.